I'm sorry, because I don't like to kick a man while he's down, okay? And that's essentially what we're about to do.
Yeah.
But Chandler was terrible.
He's got one foot out the door. This is not bagging on him in terms of I don't like him. This is the reality is he is done. He is washed. He is somebody that, like, he's literally made so much money. He's got one foot out the door. And everything I said, we saw tonight. I saw that in the Charles Oliveira fight, and I pointed that out. I was very clear. The Michael Chandler that we knew that was very comfortable with constantly fighting hands, constantly trying to spit inside the body lock, all of those things we had seen multiple times against world-class fighters of him doing that. And in this situation, literally settling on the bottom, literally just being comfortable, just hanging out on his hands and knees, just with no wrist control, just kind of hanging there and letting himself get hit. Those are the things that when I'm watching as a fighter, he's checked out. There's no push.
Yeah, I think Chandler should have just one more fight, man. Like, I really do, man. I think we should retire together, bro. Maybe on the same card. If I'm Michael Chandler, yeah, I'd retire, bro. That's too many beatings, dude. It's not even taking L's, but that's like elbow to the face. He's always cut. He's always bloody. He's gonna be beloved by the people, but he's lost all of his fights, man. And people just forget. People forget. I think at this point he's in my position. Whatever the UFC wants, whatever the UFC is gonna get him, they might give him a young up and coming contender, and that's when you'll know what the UFC's, the fact that they're a cash machine. They want to make that money, so they gotta push people to get in there to be able to promote. So as at this point, man, I think for Chandler, he's on the UFC's call, dude.
I mean, Chandler still got that dog in him. I just think that he kind of lost his focus a little bit. He was waiting on Connor for so long. Yeah, that can affect you in future fights. You think because think about it, the mentality of it, like, man, I really don't. I want this is not the fight I want, but you know what I'm saying.
I don't think he'll retire off of this, but we have to talk about the elephant in the room, namely the Conor McGregor thing. That will prove to have been a decisively bad call. And I know what everyone's going to say. Oh, how long are you supposed to wait? I don't know. He almost got it at 303. Yeah. But the whole thing always felt tenuous. The whole thing always felt precarious. The whole thing was delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed. But in the end, he waited for an opportunity that I think he probably should have pulled the ripcord on that earlier. And he came there post-prime. He lost 2 years of his life when he shouldn't have. And now, to me, it looks like we're very, very much at the end of that run.
I'm being honest with Michael Chandler. It's time to pull the plug, and that's okay. That's everybody is going to come to this moment. If you're a fighter, if you're an official, it's going to come to that moment, and it's better for you to be the one that's in control of that moment and making the decisions than it is for the promoter to tell you, yeah, we're done with you. That one's going to hurt. It's always good when you can sit there and say, man, you know what? I've given it everything I have. And obviously at this point, I don't want to be fighting in the prelims. I don't want to be fighting the younger guys and letting them try to get a name off of me. It's time for me to go help other people or find another career or whatever it is you're going to do. And that would be my suggestion to Michael at this point.
Mike wasn't explosive, athletic, or aggressive at all in round one. That's all Mike has. He's explosive and throws big punches and is wildly aggressive early in fights. That's all he's got. And if he's not doing that in round one, this ship done sailed. There's just he doesn't have a huge toolkit of skills. There's not a lot of stuff he can do. He's not a great strategist. He has one of the lowest fight IQs I've ever seen in MMA. Once again, I'm not calling him a stupid guy. I'm saying he makes just choices that make no sense, that spend a bunch of gas. He puts all his chips in round one, maybe round two. And he wasn't doing that. And I went, oh, this is finished. What else is he going to do?
Chandler at times, when he was on his back, and we just saw the footage of it before, he looked like he was terrified. Right? Yeah. You know, Paddy was on top of him, just with the 12 to 6 elbows, just brutalizing him. And it's like, that's not a good place to be. Like, mentally, you're in there. I don't think Chandler's ever going to be the same again after that. You know, losing 5 now out of 7, it's going to affect your confidence, of course. But getting beaten like that, it's one thing to get clipped, to get caught. Yeah. It's one thing to lose a decision, but it's kind of close. But the judges gave it the other way, and you're like, oh. But when you just get savagely beaten down at your own game, taken down, put on the ground, beaten on the feet, just beaten soundly everywhere. I don't think I've ever been beaten like that. I haven't. I'm very happy to say. That must be very hard to come back from when you just get the shit kicked out of you until the referee steps in. Yeah. Oh.
We know how muscle bound Chandler is, and he's kind of like a Mendez, where I think he can kind of gas out because he's got so much muscle on his frame. I don't know, man. I mean, how old's Chandler? He's been around for a while, and he's 2 and 4 or 5 in the UFC. Like, it's tough. I love the guy. I've trained with him, and he's a good one. But he's taking a lot of losses, taking a lot of damage, and I'm sure he's made some good money, and he's a good businessman. So maybe it's off to the next thing.
You can train as hard as you want. You can look as ripped and shredded as you want. It does not help your mental when you're inside that cage. Mentally it makes you feel like, I've got this. I did all the hard work. I'm ready to go. But when you get out there, it's not there. And I didn't, like, people are going to say, oh, I was bagging on him. No, I was pointing out the obvious.
Like Henry, I never want to tell a man what to do or when to retire, because you know how much fire is burning inside you. And so I would never say that to another man, like, you need to retire. But I do think, yes, that's a decision. That's something he needs to think about. If he's halfway there, it's something you need to seriously consider because of the damage that he is taking. And yes, he's one of the most exciting fighters in that division. And definitely top 10 in the company. So yes, I get that part. I think he, just like Dustin says, hey, I want one more and then I'm done. So I think, consider it. I'm not telling you what to do, but I think consider it.
Yeah. He's going to be 39 April 24th, Michael Chandler. He's kind of near the end of the run here. Yeah. But the other way that is not just because what the numerical age is. His skill set is basically what it is at this point. Like, right, you can't add much dimension to it at this late of the stage. So you are who you are at this point. And to me, what it looked like was the next generation's guy, the skill set, like the value that Mike's skill set confers has come to an end. I'm not saying he won't get another win, but like the kind of thing you can do with that, he's maxed out. There's no other high point to be useful at this point, because the guys coming up behind him are just so clearly technically superior.
Like if I showed you Michael Chandler, 5 years ago, he's a different fighter than the Michael Chandler that we saw tonight. Yeah. And that's just time. That's just what happens with fighting and age and, damage. And he's had some damage in this sport, and it catches up to you. And now he's at that point. So that's what I would like to see. I don't know what he's going to do. He's going to have to figure it out.
And, going into this, I would have said, Chandler's probably more interested in just collecting bonus money. And I'm not trying to be, there's certain guys. Gaethje, for a little while, I think, was just kind of like, hey, man, I just want to, load up on bonus money. Joe Lozon used to have that mindset. He was like, I'll fight middling guys and just kind of survive on the bonus money that comes through.
As I said before, I think that's a career killer for Michael Chandler. Will he still make money? Yes. Will he still be a fan favorite? Yes. Will he ever talk about being the lightweight champion of the world ever again? Absolutely not.